What comes to your mind when you hear Iron Man or Tony Stark? You probably think, oh, he's one of the best Avengers, or maybe brave and tough. If those are your thoughts, I definitely agree with you. He's a role model to a lot of children because he was resilient, fearless, and very heroic. Even I look up to him. However, I want you to understand that even Iron Man has his own ups and downs. He may be a superhero to us, but he also had to slay his own demons in order to save the world. If you've watched all of the Marvel franchise with Tony Stark in it, you'd see that he was just any other human. He has his own strengths and weaknesses. And if you watched closely, you'll see that he too suffered from anxiety. Tony Stark had to endure a lot of traumatic experiences. His parents died when he was young. He was kidnapped and was hidden in a cave. He almost died several times while fighting off the bad guys. Spiderman died in front of him, and so on. Only the toughest, most resilient human being can handle all these traumatic events. Tony Stark was as human as any of us could be, and he may have survived all those trauma, but he definitely had to endure the anxiety associated with it. Anxiety is one of the most common disorders in the world, and it is not as simple as being anxious about Mondays because you're too shy to give a report in front of your classmates or colleagues. It's not just about feeling anxious while waiting for a test result. It's actually more complicated than that. Anxiety is our body's way of telling us that there's an impending danger. And while most of us experience anxiety on a normal level, some people suffer from intense or extreme fear and worry. That can result to a significant distress and impairment in some of the most important aspects of life, like in school or at work. It can also affect relationships with other people. Anxiety disorders also involve specific or general phobias, panic disorder and panic attacks, and it can also possibly lead to depression. So, you see, anxiety can be a serious condition too. That is why there are some people who are too adamant in avoiding certain situations, or in some instances, certain objects. In the case of Tony Stark, he was the kind of man who wanted to be in control all the time. He was smart, and he always had solutions to his problems. He was always winning. But then he realized that he couldn't always be in control. There are a lot of things, situations, and creatures in their cinematic universe that are out of his hands. He could lose Pepper Potts. He could die. He couldn't save the world. You name it. His anxieties kept on piling up. Usually, people with anxiety deal with it through avoidance of situations that can possibly trigger their anxiety. Unfortunately, avoidance can only help the person for a short period of time, because the thing is, you can't avoid these situations forever. Moreover, it can only worsen the fears over time. Thankfully, Tony Stark was able to cope with his anxieties in the movie, and that was when he finally decided to face his fears. Just like in real life, the best treatment for people with anxiety disorders is exposure therapy, in which they are placed in a safe environment where they have to confront their fears. It is actually important that we learn to face our fears, and although it's hard and scary, we'll come to realize sooner or later that it is the only way for us to be free from the burden we're carrying because of our fears. But the thing is, we cannot just force a person with social phobia to go out and socialize. We cannot just tell a person who is experiencing a panic attack to man up and stop being dramatic. We cannot just tell a person who has a specific phobia to stop being scared because his or her fear is out of proportion. It may be nonsense for us, but to them, it's everything. And we need to understand that it will take a lot of time and effort before they can finally face their fears. Let's be patient if we're dealing with people with anxiety, because like what I said, anxiety disorders are serious conditions just like depression or any other mental illnesses. Check out one of our newest videos here. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on more videos about your favorite Disney and Marvel characters and the psychology behind them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.